Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to Greensburg, the first EF5 tornado. So an EF5 is the highest category of tornado, at least to my knowledge, on the Fujita scale. I think it goes from EF1 to 5. So I think it's based on like how much damage is caused. So, I mean, this one has got to be, to earn that, ranking, it's got to have been really, really bad. And, just seeing what tornadoes can do, like, someone who lives in a country that doesn't really, we don't really get tornadoes here, at least anywhere near the scale that they get in America. It never it always blows my mind.
Friday, May 4th, 2007, Greensburg, Kansas. This small town is unknowingly about to be cemented into tornado history. The overnight will take this town from this to this. As the sun sets on the 4th, residents are on edge as a tornado watch is in place. A storm rolls in with the twilight, bringing heavy winds, rain, and hail. But it blows on through. No tornado. There's a collective exhale from Greensburg as the night settles in. It looked like another false alarm.
The National Weather Service in Dodge City has issued a tornado warning for Cuyahoga County. Meteorologists were tracking a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado 14 miles south of Greensburg.
Sounds terrifying. That audio, oh my God, that was giving me chills.
Dazed and confused, people began to emerge out of the debris and into the darkness. Among these folks are the McKinneys. Occasional lightning bolts illuminate their surroundings as they exit their basement, the only surviving room of their home. Trying to get their bearings, they look for any identifiable feature around. A full 360-degree turn reveals the unimaginable. There is simply no more town.
That's crazy.
The realization sets in that their neighbor, Kelsey Schroth, was home alone with her infant son in a home without a basement. 12 hours earlier, the folks at the Storm Prediction Center were keen on an evolving weather system entering the plains. A strong jet stream trough was digging across the Rockies, slowly working eastward. A surface low-pressure system begins to take shape over southeastern Colorado, starting the transport of moisture northward. Finally, clear skies for most of the day baked the surface. Temperatures hit the mid-80s, making for an unseasonably warm day in western Kansas. While the timing of each atmospheric event was not perfect, forecasters had seen enough to warrant the conditional moderate risk ahead of May 5th, which had the makings of a high-risk day. Nonetheless, May 4th was not to be slept on. Tied to the surface low was a dry line, key for initiating storms. Dry air overhead cannot contain all of this instability, and the dry line forces cumulus to tap into the buoyant energy. Storms root and explode over the northeastern Texas panhandle, translating north-northeast into Oklahoma. The SPC places a tornado watch over the southern plains. One of these storms in particular strengthens significantly into a cyclical supercell.
How many, as a percentage, tornadoes in the US that happen annually happen in Tornado Alley? Are we talking all of them? Or, it's probably high, but there must be tornadoes that happen outside of Tornado Alley in places maybe on the West Coast, maybe, or the East Coast.
These storms in the right environment can sustain themselves for long periods of time. With 5,000 joules per kilogram of potential energy over western Kansas, this supercell was about to be supercharged. A tornado warning was issued for Cuyahoga County shortly before 9 p.m. In the subsequent minutes, the first tornado of this storm would reach the ground. It would only track for a few miles before retreating into the storm's updraft. This process would repeat several times before the fifth sister of this tornado family would plant southwest of Greensburg. Unlike its previous sisters, this tornado would quickly widen and sustain. A large, violent tornado was now in progress. At this moment, it tracks northeast, looking like the town of Greensburg could be spared. Nonetheless, sirens begin to sound in the town as storm chaser Mike Scantlin closes in from the south. Lightning illuminates the outline of the tornado, revealing the gravity of the situation. He and other chasers relay the ground truth to the National Weather Service in Dodge City, prompting them to upgrade the warning to an extremely rare tornado emergency.
Wow. So basically, hearing that, you need to get to the basement like now, right? Or some kind of tornado shelter. If you haven't got a basement, and there's no tornado shelter near your home, where do you go? Just get low, sort of like as low as you can to the ground, or?
Overhead, the cyclical storm begins to undergo its cycling process. The updraft decouples from the parent storm and it is sheared into a leftward turn, steering it onto a northerly collision course for Greensburg. Shortly before 10 p.m., the tornado impacts town. The McKinneys rush to their basement as their world above is mowed over. At 1.3 miles wide, the tornado is wider than the town itself. A few minutes feel like hours for Greensburg, but eventually the occlusion process takes over and ends the tornado only 2 miles north of town. As the community reels in the immediate aftermath, Dennis McKinney's attention quickly turns not to his own home, but the well-being of neighbor Kelsey Schroth and her 9-month-old son. Schroth's brick home has been reduced to a kitchen island and a fireplace.
Jeez, wow. That is insane. It's ripped everything away apart from the kitchen island and like the wall. That I've never seen anything like this ever.
Nothing more. A voice calls out from a pile of debris north of the slab. Removing collapsed walls from the walk-in closet, the McKinneys find Kelsey and her son, miraculously alive with minor injuries.
Thank goodness.
Meanwhile, the supercell's show is far from being over. Another significant tornado would plant southwest of Trousdale, Kansas. This EF3 would expand to a jaw-dropping 2.2 miles wide, an extra half-mile wider than the Greensburg tornado at its peak. The leftward occlusion that doomed Greensburg ultimately saved Trousdale, while to the east, another wide EF3 would narrowly miss Hopewell. As the clock flipped over from May 4th to 5th, this supercell refused to quit, producing more sporadic tornadoes an astounding 8 hours after its initiation. By storm's end, a total of 22 tornado sisters were spawned by this unprecedented cyclical supercell.
Wow, 22.
Morning daylight in Greensburg revealed an
Jesus. Like, there's like just damage everywhere. Like, this place it looks like this house has been picked up and just moved. Unless it was there all along, it doesn't look like it. It's a bit close to the road, right?
Apocalyptic scene. Over 900 structures had been damaged by the tornado, accounting for 95% of the town. A place once littered with trees now presents de-limbed trunks with bark peeled away.
That's insane.
Out of Greensburg's population of 1,500, there were 11 fatalities and 63 severe injuries. A shockingly small metric for the incredible damage afflicted, likely attributed to the advanced lead warning time from forecasters and storm chasers. Another 2 fatalities occurred in the Hopewell and Maxville EF3s, bringing the Greensburg supercell's final tally to 13. To make things worse for the people and first responders of Greensburg, the weather seemed to taunt them. May 5th brought with it a high risk from the Storm Prediction Center. Even more tornadoes were in the forecast for western Kansas. At 7 p.m., a tornado was reported 8 miles south of town. Their nightmare of last night reignited as a tornado warning was once again put in place for Greensburg, followed by an EF1 that was less than 2 miles to the west of town. Tornadoes simply could not avoid Greensburg. 2007 saw the implementation of a radical new rating system for tornadoes.
It's just like the amount of like wood, like shrapnel almost. It's just been like like shredded.
The enhanced Fujita scale greatly expanded the scope of damage classification. Greensburg was now the ultimate test for this new EF scale. Meteorologists and engineers meticulously pored over the damage, documenting and classifying each structure to paint a picture of what happened. The end result was the first ever EF5 rating, with peak estimated winds of 205 miles per hour. Once the dust settled, the recovery of Greensburg took root in opportunity. Over several years, they took their town name more literally by implementing advanced climate-conscious design with their new building developments. While Greensburg sure became greener over the years after the tornado, it's still evident today that the town was not what it once was. Greensburg's population sits at 50% of what it was on May 4th, 2007,
Wow.
as many empty lots and subtle reminders of the tornado remain in this town in America's heartland.
Wow. I mean, like, since I've started this channel, I've watched a fair few tornado videos. But, you know, like I mentioned in the intro, like just seeing the amount of damage, like, and how far it goes on for. Like here, it almost looked as far as the eye could see, you know, just lot after lot, you know, of just damaged homes, ruined homes, essentially. That photo with the kitchen island and the wall standing, that was all that was left of that house. You know, especially like the narrator said it was a brick house. Because I used to think that, you know, maybe brick homes would stand up better to tornadoes. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. But this proves that, you know, it's not impenetrable. Like brick, even if you make a house out of brick, a tornado powerful enough, it's going to completely devastate that house. Just, it really shocks me every time. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.